It's around the time where people start to focus in on NFL free agency. People are talking about where's Tom Brady going to land. People are talking about Joe Burrow in the NFL draft. Should he stay with Cincinnati Bengals? Should he force a trade? But one of the biggest stories going on right now is this whole Dak Prescott situation. Many of you brothers have been following this, okay? Now, Dak Prescott should be going into, I believe, his 5th or 6th year. I remember him when he was a quarterback at the Mississippi State University. They were even ranked in the top 3 or 4 his senior year. And he has performed very well for a 4th round or 3rd round pick. I'm not sure where he was drafted, but it was around that time. And last year, despite being 8-8, Dak Prescott threw for almost 5,000 yards. And Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. Many of you guys remember Kellen Moore was the left-handed quarterback for Boise State when they were really good. Didn't really play a lot in the NFL. In fact, he was Dak Prescott's backup, but he's a wonderful offensive coordinator. And Mike McCarthy's new staff, the only person that held over from Jason Garrett's staff was the offensive coordinator, which is Kellen Moore. So Kellen Moore has a good system for Dak. They know the system. But the Cowboys will not pay Dak Prescott. They've put the franchise tag on him. And if the guys want to know what the franchise tag is, it pretty much means that, well, we want to see what you can do for another year before we give you a great deal. In some cases, you got to pay him like 20% more than what he's getting paid right now. But the franchise tag means we don't want to pay you right now, okay? We don't want to pay you. That's happened many times before. And really, it's an insult to the player. And Dak Prescott has played his ass off for the Cowboys. Like it or not, I'm not a Cowboys fan. But hey, Dak Prescott has really performed above and beyond his duties. Outside of being a 4th round pick, I don't think there's anybody that has been as healthy as him, has played and done everything the organization has asked of him, with Jerry Jones. But yet they're talking about franchise tagging. And, Jerry Jones and his son have been talking about, well, we're going to pay Emmett Smith. Not Emmett Smith, but rather Dak Prescott. He's our guy. We want him to be here. And blase. And Dak Prescott has been saying, I'm not showing up to training camp until you pay me. And what I'm looking for is around $35 million a year. That's what I want. Now, people are a little bit skeptical because Tom Brady, best quarterback of all time, has been getting around 20-something million. And there are other quarterbacks who have been paid hefty, in a hefty price range that have not accomplished things to Tom Brady. But what the Jerry Jones wants Dak Prescott to do is to take a hometown discount, right? And this is what people do all the time. You're an owner. You don't want to pay the money that you would for Dak Prescott. Now, interestingly enough, former Cowboys running back Emmit Smith, league's leader in all-time rushing yards, I believe touchdowns, 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys, weighed in on the situation. Before we talk about what he weighed on in, I remember when I was maybe 11 or 12 and I started watching football a little bit, when they won their first championship. I can remember just a little bit, to be honest. I don't remember all the way, but I remember Emmett Smith sitting out some games. And at the time, we don't know why. Emmett Smith in '93 wanted a new deal. And at the time, he wanted a deal like 4 years, $27 million. All right? That was more than even what the top player of the league was getting, which is Dan Marino at the time, who was getting like $4.1 million a year. So Emmett Smith, when it was time for him to contract, he sat out, didn't play the first 2 games, and said, I want 4 years, $27 million. At the time, Thurman Thomas, many of you guys remember him from the Buffalo Bills, was the highest paid running back. So what the Cowboys did in Jerry Jones, they ended up giving him like 4 years, like $15 million, something like that, and they ended up paying him $100,000 a year more than what Thurman Thomas was getting. Remember, Thurman Thomas went to 4 straight Super Bowls with the Bills. That's what ended up happening, all right? Emmitt Smith, however, weighs in on the Dak situation, and he says, how much money are you willing to leave on the table? The Cowboys are a marketable organization. Instead of taking $35 million, why don't you take $28 million, leave some from Amari Cooper, the receiver, and pick up the rest in endorsements? This is what Emmitt Smith is saying to what Dak should do. Dak, you should take less money and leave other money on the table. But it's interestingly enough, in 93, Emmitt Smith didn't have this idea. Was he thinking about Mark Tuinei? Larry Allen? Nate Newton? Eric Williams? Where were you? Darryl Johnson? Did you think about that? Michael Irvin? Al Harper? Jay Novacek? What about that? Leon Lett? Did you think about that? No. Emmitt Smith didn't care about the other players on the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith cared about himself. And this is the whole point of this conversation. You're asking another black man to take less when you won't take any. And the whole moral of my stuff, this is where black men are at. This is why we can't get anywhere sometimes. Because, see, we don't want the same things for ourselves that we want for other brothers. Shout out to George Macon. See, what I want for myself, I want for me. But I don't want for you for what I want for myself. I want you to take less, even though it's not coming out of my pocket. Hello, I'm talking to somebody. It's not coming out of my pocket. Because, see, I'm Emmitt Smith. I can make all the money in the world from the Cowboys, and I still want all of my endorsements. But for you, Dak Prescott, you need to take a damn back deal and get less, because I wouldn't ask for less. And then you wonder why people in the industry, white people, the white businesses, white America, how can you respect a group of people who think like this? Now, obviously, all blacks don't. Shout out to Stephen A. because Stephen A. ripped into Emmitt Smith, and rightly so. Here's what I want to talk about today as far as black men. If I'm Dak Smith, I'm getting chased around by 300-pound linemen. And these guys are getting fast. Linebackers who are hitting like steel. And their job is to kill me. And Jerry Jones, who has the #2 sports franchise on the planet Earth. Hear what I'm saying. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. New England has won 6 in the last 30 years. And if you want to own an NFL franchise, you want the Cowboys, not the Patriots. The Patriots still don't even come close to being worth the Cowboys. I think they're off by 100, 200, 300 million, to be honest. And you're telling me the quarterback who's been faithful to your team, you're not going to pay him, but you paid Troy Aikman, who, by the way, you gave him 8 years for $60 million? Come on, man. Troy Aikman, even in that time, you had quarterbacks throwing for 4,000 yards. You had Dan Marino. You had Jim Everett. All right? Troy Aikman was nothing more than a professional game manager. That's what Troy Aikman was. Troy Aikman was not some great elite quarterback. In the 90s, you had guys like Steve Young who could play. Guys like Warren Moon. If you look at Troy Aikman's stat, what is he known for? Throwing to one receiver and handing the ball off. But he got 8 years, $60 million, which was an astronomical amount of money. And you don't have no problem with Troy Aikman getting that money, Emmett. Because when the white man gets the money, where is Emmitt Smith asking Troy Aikman to take a damn back seat? You were glad that Troy Aikman got the money, but now that Dak Prescott, who has earned every amount of that contract, I don't care how much I hate Dallas Cowboys, he earned it. But we got too many black male haters out here pocket watching other black men. And Emmitt Smith, brother, I'm telling you, you are ashamed. Should feel ashamed of yourself, brother. As a black man, You are supposed to say, get all the money that you can. If you can get 35 million, get 40, take it. Why? Because as soon as you get hurt, everybody knows your money ain't guaranteed in the NFL. You could be here today and gone tomorrow. I remember when Vince Young won comeback player of the year and was gone within 2 years. People once they want to watch you, Colin Kaepernick. Nobody will touch him. There's a reason. Right? Because you can be here today, go tomorrow. Get all the money that you can get. Because they got the money to pay you. And this is what I'm saying. Brothers, be for other black men earning money. Make these people pay you. Because you earn it. Don't tell no black man he should take less when he's worked for it. Because you don't tell the white boy to take, the white man to take less. You don't tell him that. You tell black boys and black girls and black people to take less, but when white men, white boys, and whatever, they get more, oh, it's okay for them. Get all the money that you can because you deserve it. And Emmett Smith, I hope that you reconsider and apologize today because more black men need to be supported. More black men. And that's all I got to say, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell. Let me know what's going on. It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson. As you know, the buffoonery is at remaining at an all-time high. Check out all my top comments pinned to the top, all right? For any information that you need, Patreon, Black Men Are Perfect t-shirts, all of that, pinned to the first of the comment. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high, brothers. I'm out.